All he wanted was a cuddle. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
Boo.
Incredible.
There's also It'll Suck Your Brains Out, which I don't remember happening.
No.
I don't think he even attempts that.
Flushed away at birth, which
Ew.
That's true.
It is true, unfortunately.
he'll always be Mommy's little mutant.
Wow, I didn't. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, the title, The Suckling, I don't know what I expected. Like, what? That can't be good. And then when I
Disagree.
pulled it up on Tubi and I saw the premise and I was like, oh no.
So this is a movie that's been
What
on my
incredible
watch
monster.
list forever because I've only ever seen the cover and I was like, hell yeah, this looks incredible. I at least know there's going to be like a real dumb puppet kind of like creature in it.
A real creature, yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let's do this. And I don't think I'd ever looked up what the plot was to this movie. And so it started,
Surprise.
and I was like, oh man, Katie's going to be so upset. Welcome back.
Correct, yeah. As if I haven't suffered enough.
I mean, look, you gotta get it out of the way now. So we, it's a weird little guy, so we had to do it.
Like,
That is true.
Technically,
A
yes.
fetus is truly the weirdest little guy.
That is actually
think about
very
it.
fair. It's true. That's true. But you know what? A actually weirdly similar double feature today because I watched this and I watched our bonus
Romulus,
episode,
yeah,
which is
Romulus.
Alien Romulus. Weirdly
Yeah, they're basically
parallel.
the same movie.
I think, kind of they are actually. So
Yeah, they're both
I was
stuck
like,
in
okay,
one spot.
there's
there's
babies trying to kill you. Like,
Real upsetting looking mutant babies.
yeah, I second that. Oh my god.
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot we were doing this today also, so I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, so I'm going to be drawing off of Alien Romulus since they're basically the same movie.
Wait, you've seen this before?
Oh, I own this film.
Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome released it, and it's one of those ones that I think by the
I saw
time
the cover and was like, whatever that is, I need it.
by the time I was like, I'll just blind buy this, it was sold out. So, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good it's very basket case ish without I think the comedy to it.
Yeah, I was
If
like,
that makes sense. It's very 70s, early 80s, grindhouse type movie. And I as soon as I started it and the plot kicked in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad for Katie. That was all I could think about. But I enjoyed it. It's not great, but I thought it was fun. The creature looks incredible. The actors are all insane and terrible. And there's 8 fucking dream sequences in this movie.
oh my god, I was like, what?
I texted Katie about 3/4 of the way through. I was like, don't even really bother with real notes because
Yeah.
Well,
there'll be
None of it means
a
anything.
30-minute section that just turns into a dream sequence. That then
Yeah,
another
didn't happen.
30-minute section happens that is also a dream sequence. It rocks.
I do have 2 pages of notes, so that's essentially the plot.
Yeah.
We can go through, but before we start, I want to say if you're gonna watch this, or you're gonna listen to this episode, I'm gonna just say really heavy trigger warning surrounding women's healthcare.
Surrounding the entire movie, the plot of the entire movie.
Everything we're gonna talk about, because it takes place at they called it a quote unquote reputable house of prostitution and illegal abortion clinic. So that's what's happening in the movie. So I'm just gonna say pretty heavy trigger warning.
I gotta assume that's that has to that 100% was a thing that existed.
Oh,
at
I'm
this
sure.
time.
I'm absolutely
Oh my
sure.
god, this was 1990.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
about to
Holy
say
shit.
when. Yeah, I was about to say no. This was 1990. But so if you're gonna continue listening, just fair warning, because the beginning of this movie, like the thing that happens to create the monsters, is extremely
Yeah,
disturbing.
it's like
And I was like,
the first 10 minutes are like I was just like, God damn, they went fucking hard with
It's
this plot, and then
they.
it just turns into
it
people trapped in an apartment while monsters around.
it's pretty similar to Alligator in a way, really.
I don't know. I mean, well, yeah.
Flush the monster down the toilet.
I was
Yeah.
like Alligator. The only thing I really remember from that movie is the wedding crashing scene.
There's a couple of films this pairs with Alligator and then like
Alien
Night
Romulus.
Feeder, Alien Romulus,
I mean, let's see the similar films on Letterboxd.
Inseminoid. I imagine is
are
on there.
It's Alive,
Ugh.
Humanoids from
It's
the
Alive
Deep.
rules. Can we do It's Alive at some point?
Yeah, I'll do all 5 of them or whatever. I'm in.
Fuck yeah. But
Uh,
I mostly want to do 3.
Yeah,
Island of the
the
Alive.
island one. Let's see, Feast and Feast 2, Basket Case, Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Yeah,
I think is
Definitely.
Dream Child maybe.
yeah.
Hanger,
That's-
which I don't know what this is. This cover art's terrible, so I'm assuming it's bad. Night of the Demon, the It's Alive remake. House of Thousand Corpses, Slugs, Neon Maniacs, The Bogans, Creep, The Beast Within.
Oh, Beast Within rules,
Uh,
and is very similar.
the Hills Have Eyes remake, Frankenhooker, the Danny Filth
Weird.
Cradle of Fear movie, and Chud. Man,
I
Chud
don't know
rocks.
about all
We
that,
gotta do
but-
Chud and Chud 2 at some
That
point.
is, in my opinion, that's a murderer's row of.
That's like
garbage
it's
films.
like half bangers and half I'm like, really? Like why House of a Thousand Corpses?
That's what
So-
I want to know.
Throw Inseminoid in there instead. You know.
like
I mean,
the
if you
name of that either.
expand it, there's like a bunch more. Like Rawhead Rex is on here and fucking Deadly Spawn and shit, but like I don't see Inseminoid, which is surprising. Oh, Jeepers Creepers Reborn, perfect.
Christ,
Oh.
The fucking WWE Leprechaun
Getting-
movie.
getting a little too real.
Yeah. All right, yeah, let's just jump into the plot. And
Lucky. Ugh.
we haven't done this in like 3 weeks, so we'll see
Yeah.
how
Right.
it goes.
This really got me. This was the welcome back that I.
Yeah,
I was literally
Get
just
rocked.
like, yeah, this is probably just like a dumb, like I in my mind I assumed this was going to be like a, not specifically like Puppet Master, but like a Puppet Master feel where it's just like kind of goofy and like dumb with a puppet, and then like it was like, oh yeah, here's like this woman who like got drugged in a back alley abortion clinic. And they just like flushed the fetus down the toilet into some toxic waste. It's like Katie's gonna fucking hate this.
1990, where people just had upended,
Uh,
casual
that has
barrels of toxic waste in their
Broken
yards.
my fucking.
it was
brain.
everywhere.
I mean, look, I've
just
seen-
like quicksand.
I've seen
Yeah.
all of the fucking trauma movies that like Lloyd Kaufman made in the late '80s and early '90s, and they all seem to. New Jersey seems to just be covered in toxic waste. So
It's insane.
I would believe that,
it
actually.
It explains a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it a lot
Um,
around here, honestly. So
Yeah,
can't really just like
So-
walk down the street without tripping over a barrel.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Okay. This movie's beginning is really baffling to me because it starts, first of all, with a scroll of text that is basically telling us that a bunch of people died in, as I already said, this building that is a reputable, quote unquote, house of prostitution, but also an illegal abortion clinic. There's one woman that survived, and she told her story to the police, but like, they're like, oh, they just think that she's crazy. And the thing is that whoever decided to make the movie believes her, and I was like, what's happening here already? They're pretending that this was a true story and that they've remade the movie based off of this thing that happened.
I mean,
incredible.
if
Strong decision to start.
this was in New York City, I believe it.
Fair. So it opens on a stormy night. There's a woman who is drugged while she's sleeping. Sleeping? I don't know why I said it like that. And taken
Women be
by...
sleeping, Katie, okay?
They do be sleeping. I will say that much. You know how they be. And she's taken by a man that appears to be a doctor, and he is pushing her down a hallway where there's also a nurse with an axe, which she's wearing
Sick.
Exactly what you would expect a nurse to be wearing, which is that her boobs are out and there's blood all over her. So like pretty typical hospital
Normal
experience, you know?
I'll say it's every nurse I've ever had.
I know. I was like, okay, so we're realistic at this point, at least. This woman who I don't think she has a name, so I called her Girl because that's what the IMDb said her name was, or whatever the fuck, Letterboxd. So she's Girl. Great.
Women be not having names.
That's also true. Women be girlin'. You know what I'm saying? They just be girlin' out here in the streets. So she then wakes up strapped to a table, and the doctor guy just starts cutting her open. But it's fine because that was also just a dream. But then also there's another dream.
There's so many fucking dreams in this movie. I don't even know what. I can't even tell if anything in this movie that happens is supposed to be not a dream until maybe the last scene.
The end.
I wonder.
Twist.
I wonder if there's an actual like plot for it, or if he just filmed a bunch of shit that he thought would be interesting, and then just tried to put it all together and was like, fuck, I just got to make a bunch of those dreams.
I think that's I think that's what happened.
Those make for the best movies.
Yeah. So I just wrote another dream. I don't know. She wakes up like in a hospital bed for real, but like she wakes up but is asleep. I mean, that's what happens. She like starts awake, but then is immediately
Sleep paralysis.
Asleep. You know what? It's real, honestly. But she's like hooked up to monitors. There's like those little fucking suction cups on her head or whatever, and it pulls out, and there are two medical doctors talking about how she has quote unquote hyper REM neurosis, which essentially they're like studying her because they're saying that she's just like having nightmares over and over. And I was like, girl, same. But they're saying that
I completely forgot any of this shit happened already. In my mind, this movie starts at like the fucking apartment building or whatever.
Yeah, and so like the reason that I'm confused about this also is because like the movie starts, like I said, with the scroll saying this thing happened, this is what it was, and I believe this girl. I believe Girl. And then she's related to Scared Man, if you're wondering, by the way. Scared Man and Girl, brother and sister.
Everyone knows that.
And
Knew it.
But then they're like opening the movie at technically present day because she's like in she's in a mental health like facility, right? So I was like, wait, what? Why are you showing us this? I'm really confused.
I've got it on in the background right now, and the man in the one of those little like spinner hats you see in the cartoon just pulled a dildo out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What an incredible combination of things.
Oh, that's... I think that was the first moment I was like, oof, Katie.
Yeah, I was like, what? You don't need to...
back to him.
I don't... Yeah.
That's art.
That guy was so wacky. He just was so off the rails that they couldn't handle him.
I love the idea that like they paint this like sex worker house like it's a fucking cartoon. The dude's like felt like it got like the child's like spinny hat on that spins when he's like getting fucked with a dildo. I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, I don't know. So
she just whipped it out of his hand.
Gross.
It got bigger when it made it to hers. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so they're basically talking about how Girl is just extremely scarred by what happened, which is very fair. And so she's like having these nightmares and they're like studying her for some reason. I don't know. So now this goes back to like what happened in the original, where girl and her boyfriend, her fucking stupid ass boyfriend, go to this like really rundown looking house because we find out that she's pregnant. He's the father, and they basically argue because she's like, listen, don't worry about it. I'm going to have it. I'm going to put it up for adoption. No worries. And he's like, absolutely not. Like, you're getting rid of it now. And she says, I'll do what I want. And I was like, okay, girl. Like, yes, you will.
Get him.
And she's essentially just like going to talk to these people to kind of like placate him, but she has no inclination to actually go through with it or whatever.
She's just doing the like, oh, we'll go get information sort of thing, even though she knows like what she wants to do.
Right. So they go sit in the waiting room. We're like introduced to all these people who are in this building. Girl goes back to talk to the head mistress and surgeon, Big Mama.
Hell yeah.
And basically Big Mama is just like trying to talk her into having an abortion. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't want to. Thanks though. And Big Mama offers her a beverage and she's like, no, thank you. And she was like, don't be fucking rude. So girl drinks it, but guess what? It's fucking drugged. Woof, already.
So many secret druggings 10 minutes into this film.
So again, I'm gonna say trigger warning for what's about to happen. So basically, they drug her and they perform the procedure with a hanger. And we see the assistant, basically Big Mama's like, get rid of that thing. So the assistant takes the fetus. It's huge, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to say
enormous.
That when they walk up to the clinic, we see girl very clearly, and she is early enough that she knows she's pregnant, but she is not showing whatsoever. This thing is huge. This is like
it's the size of a fucking xenomorph, like chest burster.
And I'm gonna say this right now. My sister-in-law is pregnant right now, and she's due in 2 months. And I've been looking. She's been sharing she has an app that says, your baby's as big as a burrito, or it's an avocado. So I am at this point really familiar with how big babies are. This thing's freaking huge.
Yeah, for like the like it's clearly all they could do is they just bought like a plastic baby doll or whatever.
Right.
And so like they do that thing. It's kind of like, like when it's like the opposite end of the spectrum of like when they have like a birth in a movie and the baby's like completely clean.
Yeah.
Where you're just like all right.
Yeah, full head of hair.
Yeah.
It's like talking and walking.
I remember seeing that and I was like, that's fucking pretty big baby.
Yeah.
So what I assumed this time limit is
100% huge. And then the assistant flushes the baby down the toilet, and we see. Oh, that's essentially what I screamed. That was the scream that I scrumped when I saw this happen. Because
that I scrumped.
We see this baby. Everything that comes out when you have a baby, the cord, the detritus, if you will, is like going down the sewer. Like, we're seeing this baby flop around in the sewer and land like down through the pipes into the fucking sewers underneath the house. And I was like, how is this allowed, first of all? Oh my God. So this is where we see it's like down there and it's like alive.
Yeah, it's
somehow
it was ready. It was ready to pop out.
Is it alive or is it until the toxic waste hits it? Because I feel like once it it hits the sewer, I don't remember it moving until like toxic waste spills on it.
I thought it went it was like, okay, have. This is why it's confusing too, because the thing that Big Mama says to try and like convince a girl to have the abortion is that she's like, this baby does not have hands or fingernails or anything. Like, it's so underdeveloped that it's like, quote unquote not a human is what she says. But then so the baby that comes out has eyeballs, like huge eyeballs, but no
That's where all
nose.
his
And I
fingernails
was
went.
like, what is that? I was like, what is going on here? Anyways, the baby's down there. It pans up and shows, like I said, just a casual toxic waste barrel tipped over in the yard of this clinic. And the waste is dripping on the baby, and the baby is crying and writhing around for a while. This goes on and then it starts transforming. In between this
So
is the
gross.
scene Kid is talking about where this guy is like with the sex worker in the hat and shit, and I left that out because
That's
what else
that
is there
far
to say?
in? Jesus Christ.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because
I watched this after Romulus to the point where I was like, all I want to do is talk about Romulus. So
So
Well,
it's
I
right
was-
before she just flushed the baby down the toilet.
okay, there it goes. No, Kid's watching it. Bloop, bloop. It's
Yeah,
like
I've got it on right now.
it's like a luge. It's like that scene in
It is
An
like a
incredible
luge.
sewage system.
it's like that scene in Goonies where the kids are like, going down to the pirate ship.
There's like a lip, like a dip that it goes off of, and the baby goes head first, and the way its head just bends because it's so large.
Zoom. Yeah. So, meanwhile, girl is passed out on the couch. They're essentially just like, all right, she'll be fine. Dump her on the couch in the most uncomfortable position ever after we've just knocked her out and done this like thing to her. And basically everyone keeps like checking on her, like, is she awake yet? And then the boyfriend's like, no. And then they're like, okay, well, you got to get out of here when she wakes up. And I'm like, okay, chill. She wakes up finally and is like rightfully very upset because she's like, what's going on here? Why was I passed out? Like, I don't know. So she gets in an argument with the boyfriend and he's basically going to leave. And as he's leaving, he basically witnesses an altercation in the stairwell where a sex worker is complaining to this like bodyguard guy about the way that this customer is like treating her, and she's basically just like, he's a freak, he's doing freaky shit to me and I don't like it, and like kick him out. And the bouncer guy is like, chill out. Have you tried just chilling out? He's the customer's always right, basically situation. But she fucking shoots and kills him. I was like,
have you tried chilling out?
I'm
assuming
guessing
you said
no on the
customers.
chilling out.
have you tried
Instead of a
it, though?
customer's just like, why don't you have this? I'm like, have you tried chilling out?
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll go good
chill
for you.
pill.
Literally. But yeah, they just witness a casual murder. Nobody really seems bothered that this man just got shot and killed in the hallway, though.
Yeah,
Like,
sure, it
Big
happens
Mama
frequently.
I wouldn't be.
I mean, Big Mama is like upset, obviously, because now she's not like gonna get that guy's money, and also they could probably get in trouble for having a dead body.
Gonna hurt their Yelp reviews.
Yeah, but I'm also like, girl, you have toxic waste. It's fine, you know.
Like
So
right outside the fence.
it's right there. I can't imagine what else you'd be using it for. Like, why are you flushing things down the toilet? Also, and then being concerned about it being backed up, like, you know. You're not supposed to put stuff down there. Okay.
Oh,
So-
that fetus is not looking good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will say, like, all that to be said, I do not like the plot of this movie. I don't like what happens in it. The Muppet, the Muppet
it's a
that they
happy ending.
use in the
That's
is a
true.
happy
The
ending,
mom and
sort of.
Baby are together.
Sort of.
In a way.
It was, I don't know if I believe it was against her will or not, though, but, you know, that's fine. I will say the puppet thing, very cool. Like, wasn't really expecting there to be, like, a whole ass, like, costume. Like, it's pretty obvious that it was, like, big enough somebody's wearing it, right?
Yeah,
but,
there's like an actor credited as the Suckling.
Oh, okay. I called it Monster Baby, but the Suckling is fine, I guess. It's cool, and I did also like the music. It was like an original like piano score for the most of it, which I thought was pretty good. But woof. Okay, so the toilet, not surprisingly, is acting up a little bit. And one of the sex workers, whose name is Candy, and I don't remember, maybe this woman's name was Bertha. She's like the assistant to Big Mama, go to like check out why the toilet is making gurgling noises and stuff. And I can't help but feeling they should probably know why, but it's fine.
Was it
But
Cheryl, maybe?
I don't know.
No, yeah, they're right.
Keep
Bertha,
flushing
yeah.
fetuses down this toilet. I can't figure out why it's clogged.
That toilet has
weird.
to have a massive hole in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not just for farts.
Nope, not just a fart toilet.
That's right. Which are usually much smaller because you just never know. You can't trust a fart, but also it's not ready. It's like not heavy duty, right? So, they're like, she's like, try jiggling it, flush it again, which like, because the thing that you should do when your toilet is clogged is like continue to flush it, but that's fine. And so there's a lot of tentacle stuff going on here with the monster, where the monster is essentially like slithering its tentacles through pipes and shit and is able to grab people. So essentially what happens is that the tentacle / umbilical cord comes out of the toilet and wraps around the assistant's neck and then slams her head so hard into the toilet seat that her head literally just pops off.
Perfect. It rocks.
Which I will say, startling, to say the
I'm
least.
always worried when I step out of the shower. Like, I'm just going to slip and that's going to happen.
Physically, I think it can, so...
If movies have taught me anything, the slightest breeze, a head will pop right off.
Your head will pop right off.
They don't seem to be on there very tightly.
No, not at all. And then I think her head also gets flushed down the toilet. So
there's a huge hole in the toilet.
Kind of serves you right, but I
There's
also...
the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, they should do like a Spider-Man movie with him.
No.
Use the umbilical cord to swing around.
I just love the idea of the Suckling in a Spider-Man outfit. Katie, new t-shirt.
Oh my, no. Kit will take this one.
He's basically shaped like Man Spider. Like, come on.
Spider-Verse. Listen, hear me out.
Yeah. No. Spider-Verse. Turn this off.
Just
Don't listen.
right in the background. Just have the Suckling go walking around New York City in a Spider-Man outfit.
So I will say, like, what I would equate this Suckling baby monster to, he kind of looks like a mix between Pumpkinhead and the aliens from Mac and Me, because he has like bulging eyes, but he's like shaped similarly to Pumpkinhead.
Such a bulbous head.
Yeah. And he has like his mouth has so many long sharp teeth that like his lips don't close over it, and it's just like constantly protruding.
It rocks because it's
insanely cool creature design.
It like
this shitty little movie worth $10.
Apparently the costume cost them a shit ton of money. Like,
I believe it.
I think
100%. I believe
10
that.
grand. But this is like one of those movies that like I feel like I would have saw on in a VHS in the video store and been like, I know this creature on the cover is not what this creature looks like in the movie, but it does.
It is, yeah. That was surprising to me. So, if nothing else, kudos to you spending $10,000 on your monster fetus.
Excellent work, the Suckling.
Yeah. When is the Alien? When is it like Alien versus Suckling or Predator versus Suckling?
God, that'd be incredible if the Suckling just showed up in the fucking Alien versus Predator movie.
Yeah, it's on the Predator ship. He's got the Suckling skull.
Okay, so yeah, she gets her head popped off. R.I.P. kind of, because I think she was manipulated into doing this gross stuff and not of her free will, so sorry.
Y'all, I'm gonna say there's some upsetting pictures on Google Images, and once you get past like about the first page,
the movie Suckling.
Yeah, this is upsetting.
Gross. Hello.
Hi.
Miso is... I cannot pet you right now, sir. Hello.
Oh, yep, there goes her head.
Miso's interested, huh? Okay. So, yeah, well, get caught up with where we are in the movie here. Okay, so Candy, who is the one that just saw this woman's head pop off, runs over and tells Big Mama and the staff that some fucking thing killed Bertha or whatever her name is. And they're like, what in the fuck are you talking about? Whiny ass boyfriend is basically like, so we're trying to leave, but the back door is shut and we can't get out. They start trying to find a way out. They look through the windows and there's like this weird membrane covering the windows to the point where they can't get out. They're like trapped in this house. Okay.
They've been suckled.
They've been suckled. The Candy says, oh yeah, by the way, that thing came from the toilet. And they're like, again, what the fuck are you talking about? Let's see, what does it say? Oh, so this guy whose name I think now is Axel is kind of like the dickhead
That makes
bodyguard
sense.
guy. Yeah, right, exactly. Basically wastes a bunch of bullets. Ah! Why? He
Yeah,
just keeps coming up behind
Katie
me and
does
like
not like
putting his
wasting
claws
bullets.
in my back. No, I don't. Save your money, okay? Don't be. He just is like the worst shot ever. And like one of the girls is basically getting attacked by the monster baby, like tentacles coming out of the sink or whatever, and it's like lashing at her and she's screaming. So he tries to get in the room by trying to shoot the door handle, and he fires a lot of bullets, is all I'm saying. And they're too late. Basically, she's like, well, what we find out is that she's not actually dead, but they think she is, or maybe it's the other lady. I don't know. There's like three.
I don't know who the fuck is dead in this movie because people die and then 10 minutes later come back because the entire fucking segment was a dream.
So
There's also so many people in this house. Like,
I know.
yeah. So she's either way, she's fucked up, and they're just like, oh no. And then all of the people who were left alive are arguing. And because they're like, okay, well, we're trapped in here, and the only thing that we have is a hammer. And I was like, for half of this being a clinic, I'm a little surprised that all they have is a hammer. That seems weird. And
That's all
so
you need
they're
in a
basically,
toolbox.
yeah, I guess, and yeah, they basically are telling the customer guy that's left that he's got to try and chisel his way out of through the door / membrane or whatever with a screwdriver. And I was like, what? And he's like pissed off about it. He's like, why don't you make these sluts do it? He's like throwing around derogatory comments like at everybody essentially. And they're like, you fucking do it. I am the one that has the gun. So he's like, whatever. So this is when they decide that because they can like hear the monster clanging around in the pipes, right? So they decide that they're going to clog the pipes and that way the monster can't come out. So the one bodyguard and the boyfriend are like in the kitchen putting stuff down the kitchen sink or whatever, and the monster just like reaches out from under the sink and grabs the boyfriend, and they're like, ah, screaming and shit. And they cut off a piece of its like little grabber thing, and then we see like a stop motion image of it wriggling around. I was like, cool. Then they're like, you know what? Let's not tell anybody about this.
Smart.
Great. The customer dude decides that he is going to try and pay some of the workers to go upstairs because nobody's up there, and they're like, I don't think so, buddy. Like, we're being fucking murdered. He's like, whatever, forget about it.
This is the
Like,
dude that's like constantly, he's like, at some point it's like, I got like a BMW out there. I don't know what's going to happen to it in this neighborhood.
Literally, yeah. So he's just like
Jesus.
a piece of shit, and he's like, and I'm like, those girls do not care. Like, fuck off, bro. This is when the boyfriend decides that maybe they should try and make a battering ram to ram the front door down. And for some reason, this makes Axel really angry, and he starts like fighting them. And I was like, what?
He's the dude that like in every zombie movie secretly gets bit and doesn't tell anybody.
It doesn't tell anybody. Yeah, exactly. He's just like, you know, you can tell because he's wearing like a tank top too, and he's got like a shitty tattoo, and he's just like, I'm the boss.
Anybody
whatever.
who wears a shirt with no sleeves is a problem.
Yeah,
Hey.
pieces of shit.
Especially if they cut the sleeves off themselves.
Yeah,
That's like
who
the
would do
lowest
that?
of the low. I don't know, man.
What dumb
Um,
bastard would waste money and time?
That's good sleeve money you're wasting.
yeah, that exactly. I don't like to waste bullets and I don't like to waste sleeves, okay?
I'm gonna start wearing
Um,
just sleeves. I'm gonna start a new fashion trend.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt right now.
I think I think that's
That's because
perfect.
it's like
If
30 degrees in Texas today.
yeah,
Yes. Oh my God, it's so fucking cold.
wear just sleeves and a dickie. That would just really complete the look. Perfect. So, okay. Yes. So Axel is really mad that they're trying to make a plan to escape, and they start fighting like, fisticuffs as men are wont to do. And the other guy, the other bodyguard guy, who seems like a pretty like he seems like he actually cares about like the girls and like he's actually trying to like figure out a way out or whatever, pulls a gun on him and he's like, chill the fuck out, bro. But this is when the monster just full on busts through the wall and like grabs him and takes him away. And I was like, woof, that sucks. Because now Axel gets the gun and is basically just like, I don't know who the leader was before, but it's me now, and I think we should try and kill this thing. Because every time it kills somebody, it gets bigger and it's gonna come and eat us. And I was like, does it? Sure. Candy is basically just like, LOL, okay, bro. And then he just fucking shoots her in the back of the head. I was shook. He seems like somebody who's been waiting to kill her for a long time, though. Just didn't know how he could get away with it, you know?
Just waiting for a monster to show
Yeah.
up, distract
Yeah.
everyone so he can do it.
Exactly.
He knew his day would come.
So they're all upset by this, like, rightfully so. And so now he's gonna, like, make them all go down into the basement to find the monster, I guess. And they're all scared. They're walking around, right? The monster's popping up and he gets one of the girls, and there's like this long sequence in the basement where like he like knocks the guy out. The guy is again shooting the gun willy-nilly at nothing, and then like eventually I kind of couldn't understand what happened here, but it looked to me like he got electrocuted and exploded.
I don't
Confirm or
remember.
deny, I don't know. He like grabs a
That's
pipe.
what happened in Alien Romulus, I'm pretty sure. So
So either way, he exploded because I saw him explode.
Like someone exploded.
Then
yeah, something exploded here, and it was probably a man.
somebody exploded, most likely a man. Then girl, if you didn't forget, she's here. Dreams a recap of the entire movie so far, just in case you forgot what happened.
Maybe you didn't pause and you went to take a leak. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. So they finally tried the battering ram. There's like a scene where they think the monster is like coming at them from behind the door. So the other worker who's like still alive starts shooting at it, but it turns out to be their friend that wasn't actually dead, but now she is actually dead, and so she's upset about that. Fair. So they managed to get like ram one of the panels out of the front door, and they're like, okay, kind of like trying to think of what their strategy is going to be. But the customer guy, this is where he says he's concerned about his BMW, so he's going to get the fuck out of there. And so he goes through the door and kind of like wades through all this like viscera and stuff, which is essentially just like, I don't know, ropes and nets and whatnot.
This shit was fucking baffling to me. Like,
it's, yeah.
All of a sudden, like, I like, there's an entire thing in the movie where they're like, they can't get out of the apartment complex, and it's very much like, I feel like, Tales from the Crypt has done episodes like this, or like, kind of any of those, like, I feel like probably there's like an Are You Afraid of the Dark or something that's got like the idea where they're trapped in a house and there just seems to be like a weird force field that won't let them out. But this is like seems like it's just like all of the doors and windows are covered in like solidified amniotic fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's really gross looking.
but there's like no explanation at any point.
It looks like it's like it took the placenta and just like
But
nailed the placenta
Like-
over the windows.
Yeah, it's like essentially the entire house is supposed to be like encased in a womb, but I don't know. I don't know.
I love
I
a
don't know.
movie where it seems like they have ideas that they just shoot but then never finish. And they're just like, I don't know, it's a dream.
Yeah.
JK, see you later.
So, he basically like gets his fucking cufflink stuck on something or something, and then the monster just comes and gets him. I will say, all of the kills except for the woman getting her head popped off by the toilet, and then like the woman who gets like lashed a bunch, the rest of the kills are all off scene. Essentially, well, besides the guy that got exploded, but I meant like the people who were actually killed by the monster. He like sucks them away or like, whatever. It cuts away. He's gone. Fuck off, bro. But somehow his severed hand falls back inside the house and like crawls around on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Okay. Again, stop motion hand crawling. This is when the remaining worker girl dies by suicide. All right, fair. Big Mama essentially kind of like starts freaking out and decides that she wants to be with Axel in the end, and girl is like, or maybe it's the boyfriend, is like, he's dead. And she's like, I don't care, he's my kin, I raised him. And I was like, okay, sure. And so she goes to like try and be reunited with him, but the monster gets her. Then the monster pops up through the floor in the living room and kills the boyfriend. Also, fuck off, you suck. Your name was probably Brad or something like that.
Chet.
Yes, exactly. And he's dead. This is when possibly the most disturbing thing happens, which is that the monster sees girl. She's the only one left at this point. She's like scared, she's screaming, and he runs towards her. And as he does this, he starts transforming into smaller gross monsters, and to the point where he's so small that he can crawl back inside her.
Yeah.
Ugh. Don't like.
It looks insane.
These things happen, every day.
Yeah, this is just the miracle of science.
Remember, This is based on a true story.
The miracle of unbirth. The baby takes like a few different stages, and it is so terrifying looking. So she, of course, is in a lot of pain, not surprisingly, and kind of like passes out. Cops come into the house and rescue her. I assume that the house is no longer covered in a placenta, because then I feel like that would there would be no question about whether this happened or not. So,
I assume they just broke through.
So, yeah. So, and then they're like, crazy woman. Houses are in placentas all the time. Idiot. So now they show that she is in a mental health facility, just in a room with a bunch of people who looks like a gymnasium to me. They're all just walking around in their socks as they do. Two of the guards come in and take her out into the stairwell, where one of them is trying to sexually assault her. And the monster baby exits her and kills the guy. So the monster's just chilling up in there, ready to kill a man at any moment, which I do like just the vibing. Idea of that. But then it just says the end. And I was like, I'm confused because
someday.
I'm just really confused about all the way that the movie was shot in the order in which it's being given to us. It's very confusing. And then, furthermore, it's the end of the movie and the credits start rolling, but then all of a sudden it starts cutting back and forth between the scene outside the house where there is just like a guy melting, like his face melts off, and there's like a kid and a guy standing there just like watching it happen.
I genuinely, I just have to think all it is they just had extra footage. They just like of like an idea they wanted to do that like they just crammed into the credits because it
Yeah.
looks pretty good. Like it looks bad but good.
Well, I was gonna say like the effect of basically this guy pulling off his own face skin and then being a skeleton and like melting into a skeleton, like it looked pretty good. So I understand, I guess, being like, oh, we spent so much money on the shot, put it in the movie. But it's just like, who is it? Is it supposed to be the customer? And like, because he's standing outside of the house. The house we've confirmed at this point has no more womb around it or whatever. And it's just like this little kid who's like smacking and blowing bubble gum, and then this like fucking guy in a suit gaping at this guy who is like melting down to a skeleton. And then between credits, and I was like, what does this have to do with anything? Who is this? We don't know.
I
Because it's
like,
actually the end.
I
It's
would
Guy.
love to hear like a commentary track or just like an interview or something about the making of this movie because I am curious about all the decisions made in it. Like it all feels like I said, like I like this movie, but it's a fucking mess and like it's one of those things where like we kind of talked about throughout where like it just has to be a thing where like maybe they filmed a bunch of stuff and they were just like, well, we don't have any more money to film, so let's just figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
And like, because like that's the only thing that like would explain why like there's like 5 dream sequences in it that take up the entire movie. And like, yeah, the same thing like Katie said, like the credits are playing and I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? It just looks like someone put like special effects test footage in the credits. It rocks. Go see it. Go to theater right now. See the Suckling.
Yeah.
Go to the theater right now.
Bring a copy with you. Walk into the projection room.
But hey,
you know,
fuck
Throw it in
Nosferatu. Put the Suckling on.
Yeah.
Put a mustache on the Suckling.
No, Nosferatu's had his time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Suckling.
This is the age of the
Poseidon,
Suckling.
2025, year of the Suckling.
I am an appetite.
Sucklers unite.
There you go.
Katie, what'd you rate this, or did you?
5 stars.
You know what? I didn't. I
Boo.
don't know. Wow. My first inkling is like a 2.
Was your first Suckling?
A 2.
I mean, I gave it a 3. That feels pretty accurate.
Yeah.
7 stars.
All right.
It's got a 2.7.
Yeah, I mean, like, considering most people do not vibe with, like, you know, quote unquote cheap movies like this, that's unsurprising to me.
Shocking to me.
Yeah.
Can't
It
understand
rocks.
it.
This honestly, it feels so much like a fucking trauma movie, but like with less fart noises than a normal trauma movie.
Yeah.
I can confirm. There wasn't a lot of squelching, which I appreciated. There wasn't actually really a lot of noise at all, to be fair. So I guess it could have been worse, but the sewer scene and the ending was like pretty bad for me. So
All it's missing, make it 5 stars, was the Suckling ripping off somebody's dick.
you know what?
Shocking it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think it would have honestly raised it a star for me if that happened.
The fucking dude with
But-
the BMW.
Like,
Yep.
the final shot, is it just like
Why didn't he get revenge?
popping its head out and biting a dick off?
Yeah.
That would have been
Honestly.
incredible.
Or just like using his tentacle, just like straight up rip it off. That guy got too good of a death, if you're asking me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he's the one that melted at the end, and still not bad enough for that piece of shit. But you know,
All right. I was looking to see if there was like any news, but there's really not. It's like everything right now. It's just everyone's like best of shit or
Yeah.
whatever.
Still, and everyone's just now getting back from a holiday.
Yeah.
yeah.
Kit, what'd you watch since the last time we recorded, like 3 weeks ago?
Uh, let's see. I know I went and saw Sonic 3.
Hell yeah.
Great time at the movies.
I-
Recommend.
I would probably agree because that's all I heard while trying to watch Nosferatu from the screen next to me was Ben Schwartz screaming as Sonic. The way Robert Eggers planned for you to see Nosferatu.
Literally,
Yeah.
yes, agreed.
I went and saw Nosferatu a second time. I went and saw it twice, and the second screening was next to a Wicked sing-along.
Oh,
Oh, no.
God.
Why did they do those things?
I gotta.
Luckily, I was smart enough to go see it at like 8:50 in the morning, so no one was there at the Wicked sing-along.
Oh,
I-
good.
But
I don't know what is going on with how movie theaters seem to be. I guess mostly like
the soundproofing's bad.
Regals at AMC or whatever, but I was just like every moment of Nosferatu that there wasn't like blasting score or like noise, I was like all
Which
I
is
could
a lot, I
fucking
would
hear
say.
was like Ben Schwartz and Idris Elba and like whoever else and fucking like Jim Carrey screaming in Sonic, and I was like, God damn it.
I will say I don't remember what movie I was actually in, but we used to have a movie theater in our mall, so that wasn't soundproof at all.
That's
It was
exactly
just,
what this was. So
yeah, and I don't remember what movie I was in, but it was like a pretty quiet movie, and Godzilla 2000 was playing next door.
Ugh.
So
yeah,
that was my experience.
I've been in a screening when like a Godzilla movie is playing in the one next to you, where all you can hear is the roar over like anything,
The roar and like
or it's like you're next to like
destruction.
Fast and Furious or some shit. You're just like, okay, well, I guess there's just cars speeding as fucking loud as possible. Before Kit finishes, since we all saw Nosferatu, do you guys want to talk about that real quick?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
It was all right. I think it looks fucking incredible. Like the thing, I guess the only Eggers movie I haven't seen so far is The Northman, which I need to get around to. But so far, I have one that I love, one that I thought was okay, and I hate The Witch. But like, I'll say this: he fucking knows how to shoot a movie.
Absolutely.
It looks fucking incredible. But like, as soon as I left the theater, I was like, well, I felt literally nothing for anything in that movie. It felt like, and all it made me want to do was go watch like Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Because that movie, like, I keep seeing people's reactions where like, this is the horniest movie I've ever seen. And I'm like, have you seen
The fuck?
the 90s Dracula? Someone fucks a wolf in that movie.
Right?
So Chris, I'm gonna start by saying like I thought it banged. I thought it was amazing. But so we went to go see it with like our aunt, and because she's the only one in our family who likes horror movies, and then Chris came with me, and we were kind of like talking about it afterwards, and he's never seen like Dracula or Nosferatu or anything, and there's like obviously a lot of stuff in this movie that is like kind of awkward to see with like someone who's older in your family, so that was like kind of weird. But I was like, this movie surprisingly is like not really horny at all compared to like
I was
like
so baffled by like so many people's overreactions to it.
There was a tennis movie from earlier this year that was much warmer.
Like,
come on.
I've seen so many like TikToks and reels on Instagram of like, hey, stop filming yourself in the theater. You're an asshole, and I hate you.
What the fuck?
But
Fucking
like
weirdo.
women bawling that are like, I need a love like this, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Did you watch this movie?
No.
Look, some people just need a crusty Romanian guy.
I
No
guess.
less.
Just
Okay?
go date a dude with a mustache. It's not hard. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Don't
I think,
shower.
Yeah.
who sleep in their coffin naked.
Hell yeah.
You know how it goes. Infested with rats.
I know I talked to Katie about it. I don't know if I talked to Kid about it. So Caitlin and I got to the screening like 10 minutes early before trailers or whatever, when the dumbass movie MOOVIE, whatever the fuck it is.
Newbie, bro.
Newbie, that's right.
Maria Menounos has been retiring from Newbie for fucking 2 years now.
So we're sitting there and like this like maybe late 20s, early 30s couple walks in with two like 6 or 7 year olds.
Oh my god.
And we were both like, oh my god. So I spent the
Don't do
first.
this. Don't do this to me.
Yeah, I spent the first, like, I'll say 40 minutes mostly watching them because I was like, I gotta see when they walk out. And spoiler, it was when the dick popped up.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already seen it. Might as well stay.
Right?
I was like, I know this is a situation where they were like, I want to see this movie and we don't have a babysitter, so we'll just bring them. And I was like,
choice.
it reminded me of like when I went to see Deadpool and it was just full of like dads who just took their kid to see it, and I was like, there are pegging jokes in this movie, sir. What are you doing?
That is some prime dad behavior right there.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Kit, what'd you think? I'm assuming you loved it.
Oh yeah. I thought it ruled. I mean, I went and saw it a second time. You know.
For me at this point, I wanted it to do. I needed it to, like, if you're gonna keep remaking this story, like, I wanted it to do something bigger or different than I've seen in, like, the previous Nosferatu or Dracula stories.
Yeah, they gave him a mustache.
And that was about it. I saw his dick and I saw a mustache, and I was just like, all right, I guess that's
What
it.
more could you ask for?
And I kind of, like, I don't know, I did not vibe with, like, Lily Rose Depp and Nicholas Hoult in it. Nicholas Hoult not doing a California Keanu Reeves accent, so what are we doing?
Yeah. I love him. I think he's amazing. I think he did a really good job of being. This is what I think I liked about it, is because I think it did do something different. Because normally, and like, I can't, like, at this point not even count the amount of, like, Nosferatu, Dracula, vampire remakes based on whatever books I've read or movies that I've watched or whatever. And the thing that I really liked about this one is that, like, except for Willem Dafoe, who does not have any stake in the game here, he's just, like, living his best life with his cats, just, like, you know, being crazy. Everybody else was, like, actually, like, it wasn't presented to us as like, oh, this woman's crazy and these, like, strong men are going to come in and, like, put a stake through Nosferatu's heart and save their marriage is going to be saved and everything's going to be fine. They were, like, crying and upset and scared and confused the entire time, which I thought was really refreshing. Because, again, like I said, normally it's just like the guys being like, oh, let's away to the castle. We'll take care of this guy. Nicholas Hoult is, like, on the edge of a mental breakdown the entire movie, and I think he did a really good job. I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was amazing.
I did not like him in this.
I actually didn't recognize him.
I think I just also kind of, like, I feel like a lot of his personal life shit has just, like, delved into the way I view him in performances that I'm just like, I don't know, go away for a while, please.
That's fair. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him or, like, what he's from or anything.
I know he's dating someone that was, like, 40 or something when he was, like, 17 and they started dating or some shit, and, like, I don't know. He seems like he's got a lot going on in his personal life. I keep seeing stories about it, and I'm just like, just either stop showing me these stories or stop casting him in things for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I thought it was great. Obviously, I loved the score. This is just, like, a perfect, like,
so good.
Spooky gothic situation. The thing that I loved about it too is that, like, I feel like, and we talked about this, like, in our, like, Twilight bonus episode stuff too, where I feel like most of the vampire stuff is, like, and I would say, like, obviously Dracula is, like, stunningly beautiful movie too, but it's, like, way more clean and, like, romanticized and stuff, whereas this isn't. Like, Nosferatu looks fucking gross. He's crusty. He's got no butt, which, you know, whatever. He's, like, a skeleton man with, like, a weird mustache. You can kind of,
he's uncircumcised.
Yeah. Whoa. Like, the main character, Ellen, the stuff that's like happening to her when she's possessed is like she's not just like, oh, oh, poor me, I'm having a fainting spell or whatever.
Visions.
She's like contorting and spitting, and it's disgusting. And I think
Frothing.
frothing at the mouth, gross. And then, I mean, if you like to froth at the mouth, like I'm not saying go
No
ahead,
kink
froth if
shaming.
you want. Exactly.
Froth away.
But the thing that I loved about it is that it was like it was like a very gross movie. And I'm not even saying like gore wise, because I actually was surprised at the kind of lack of gore. Like you do get some moments, obviously, like somebody bites a pigeon's head off, which was, whatever. And people are getting their necks bitten out or whatever. But it like wasn't overall gory in that way. It just was like in the way that they handled like the relationship, because like normally the vampires are like a beautiful whatever. This guy's fucking gross and she's still really down to clown with him, right? And I think the thing that I loved about the movie, which is the thing that I like live for in like gothic movies, is that it's like a pretty slow burn. You guys already know I'm going to say 2 hours is way long for this movie. It's a really slow burn, but then there's like a moment at the end where it all culminates, which spoilers for this movie, I guess, like if you don't want to hear the ending, because it's not a common ending, I think. But there's a moment where like, so she realizes that she has to like sacrifice herself for everybody, right? And she's got to she's got to do the deed with this gross, crusty guy who she's like really into for some reason. And like keep him occupied until the sun comes up so that he will die, right?
Every woman has been through this.
Honestly, it's like actually kind of tired at this point, right? But so they're like in bed together. He's like sucking her actual life force out of her. And she's like, oh, more. I love it. It's so great. And the sun comes up and he realizes this and he looks over and there's a moment where like the score like crescendos and they're both screaming and like, well, he's screaming. They're both screaming, right? They're fucking dying. I like literally got goosebumps. I was like, this is movies. This is the moment. It's all worth it to me.
That's my favorite thing that's happened in a movie, like all of last year. Like, yeah. It was just so incredible to smell like the music and the camera turning and
I'm sorry,
fucking pouring blood out of his eyes.
You mean CGI Ian Holm was not your number one?
Oh my god, I'm so excited to fucking rant about CGI Ian Holm. Oh my Christ.
I don't know. Like Nosferatu, like
well, to be fair, I saw that CGI guy this year, and I saw Nosferatu last year. So let's just slow your roll.
I fucking like again, like the way it looks is incredible, and I love that it's like 99% fucking physical, right? Like.
Yeah.
Those rats, they're like, I think I saw a clip where Nicholas Hoult said there were over 7,000 rats on set.
That's too many rats,
and like,
if you ask me.
You know, like outside of like, I think expanding background shots, I think it's like all physical stuff. Like they built all of those sets and shit. And the way it's lit and all that, like the one thing I always give Robert Eggers credit for is he goes like all out on like set design, costume design, like all that shit. Like all of his movies look insane. I just like, I don't know, something about this I left and I was just like, I don't know, I felt nothing for like this entire movie outside of like the sort of production aspects of it. And I mean, like, it's not bad. It's not like I wasn't like The Witch. I actively could not tolerate. I hated The Witch. But like this, I was like, I don't know, it's fine. More than anything, I've just the entire time I've been like, I do not understand the reaction some people are having to it. Like, go to therapy.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like,
I think
it's one
what people aren't realizing is that they're just in love with Bill Skarsgård. So just
as a freaky little monster guy, you know.
Nah, I think they are in. Let's be real. It's Willem Dafoe. Everyone's in love with Willem Dafoe.
Fair. That's fine.
If you gave Willem Dafoe Bill Skarsgård's voice in Nosferatu, it's the perfect combination.
Also love that there's a interview clip with Eggers where someone asked him like, so like what did you watch to like get you prepared and like really like prime you to make this. And he was like, I'm not kidding. Dracula Dead loving it was my biggest like help, because he was like, that's a movie that shows you all of the stuff people find goofy about Dracula, and it like helped me like try to avoid as much of that as possible. And I was like, hell yeah, Dracula Dead loving it rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What else did you see, Kit?
So I saw a movie that has a very similar plot. Baby Girl. It's married ladies that they're just not feeling it with their guy, so they go and get weird sex from somewhere else. Baby Girl and Nosferatu.
Does this guy have a big
very
mustache?
Fair. No.
We gotta bring back big mustaches.
It's sad. We should. I was like, damn, that's a solid mustache.
I saw so many people complaining about that, and then people being like, have you ever seen fucking pictures of like Vlad the Impaler or like whatever?
Yeah,
right,
it's definitely.
It's so good they just made him like just a rotting Romanian guy. That rules. That was really about it.
Have you seen the meme from like that somebody just put like, I don't know what any of this shit is and I'm fucking scared from I Think You Should Leave on Nicholas Hoult when like he first meets him? It's like the fucking funniest thing I've seen come from the movie.
It's funny because it's actually
standing there
like,
all sweaty.
So fitting and true. Like that's what the movie is, to be so honest. It's like, oh, my wife wanted to fuck a demon when she was younger, and now all this shit's going on.
Everyone's been there.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, tale as old as time.
Yeah.
Did you say that was it, Kit?
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Katie?
Well, the last time we recorded was like way before Christmas, so mostly I just watched like my whatever normal Christmas stuff. I rewatched The Batman for something. I watched another movie that Nicholas Hoult was in called Juror Number 2. It was not a good movie. Like, it made no sense. The writing was bad. He's fine in it, but the movie was stupid. Don't watch it. Then we watched Nosferatu. And we've kind of been back we took like kind of a long break, but we're kind of back on like cooking competitions now. So we've mostly just been watching that instead of like real stuff.
Perfect.
And then I unfortunately watched The Suckling today.
Let's see. I have a lot, but not a lot of it is worth talking about. I started watching. I'm waiting for my Captain America director's cut Albert Pune Blu-ray to show up so I can continue my Albert Pune filmography watch. But I basically got up to Captain America.
It's real.
I watched Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever at work, and it is real bad. I mean, look, to be fair, I think I missed the first like 20 minutes, but I was just like, this should not be on TV at work.
It's so stupid. It's so good.
I watched
Ty West. Put your name back on it. You know, don't be a coward.
That popped up, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I watched the Severin Blu-ray release of The Mask of Satan, which I'd already seen, and it looks very good. Whatever upgrade they did to it. I think the only Christmas movie I watched was Santa Jaws. I watched Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, 2, and 3, and I loved all of them. So I apparently seem to be the only person that did. I also watched... Oh, God.
I'm sure you'll add me to the roster when I finally
Apparently
watch
people
it,
were real mad that they like... Well, comic book people are always real mad when they like divert... They don't do exactly fucking beat for beat like the comic book.
Panel for panel.
Have they tried calming down?
No.
Have they tried chilling out? Okay.
I also, at work, watched a movie from 2018 called Acts of Violence that is a Bruce Willis, Sean Ashmore joint. And it was real bad, gotta say.
What the fuck?
I watched that Vinegar Syndrome release of Congo. That movie is baffling.
It's so bad.
I forgot how
so sad. It sucks.
70% of that movie is just people walking around the jungle, and then there's like 30% of cool shit.
I could have sworn like most of that movie was killing giant apes with cool lasers.
The ending rocks.
And that is not. Only like 10 minutes of that movie is what that is.
I watched the Watchmen Chapter 1 animated movie. And it was alright. I watched The Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman. Those are pretty good. Let's see, Nosferatu. I fucking watched Roar from 1982. The fucking...
Yeah, the real
the Tippi Hedren
Hedren
movie with Melanie Griffith and shit, where they're like... oh, they're just fucking living with real lions, and every scene of this movie is people getting actually fucking injured by a bunch of lions.
How is that? I bought it like 10 years ago and I still haven't watched it.
I mean, it's not good, but it's interesting because you're like, wow, this is...
yeah, that's a person getting
that dude
mauled.
just got slashed by a fucking lion for real. It more than anything, I assume whatever documentaries and shit are on that release are probably way more interesting than the actual movie. But just the fact that it exists, it's kind of insane.
I love it.
And then I don't know who put this out. I bought it through Vinegar Syndrome's partner label stuff. But it's called Death Among Us, I think, or Death Lives Among Us, or something. And it was just a compilation of like all of these films by this animator named John Schnall. And it was really good. Like all the animated stuff, just all these like, 2 to like 13-minute animated shorts, and they're all like really fucking weird and kind of reminded me of some of the shit you would see on like MTV in like the middle of the night in like the 90s. So that was pretty good. I watched Sorority Girls and The Creature from Hell, which fucking rocked.
Hell yeah.
Just a fucking banger 90s SOV movie where fucking Uncle Leo from Seinfeld is like the disgruntled neighbor that's mad at these teenagers and shit.
I am in. Say less.
Every scene of that movie, like, well, not every scene, but most of it, like, you could tell is all ADR dialogue because no one's ever facing the camera, or it's just out in the woods in the middle of the night so you can't see anyone's face. It rocks. I watched a USA Up All Night like stream that somebody put on YouTube with all of the commercials intact when Gilbert Gottfried was the host of A Nymphoid Barbarian and Dinosaur Hell. That rocks. I watched so I've been dying to see this movie, and someone like I guess finally put it on YouTube. I heard Erica talk about it way back on like when she was doing Customers Also Watched. There's a movie called Triple Fisher, The Lethal Lolitas of Long Island, where this guy took the Drew Barrymore, the Alyssa Milano, and the Noelle Parker, Amy Fisher made-for-TV movies and edits them all together into one movie that tells the story. Wow. So it's constantly jumping between, like, 3 different actors playing the leads and like everybody in it. It's just like different actors, and it rocked. I couldn't actually rate it because it's just one of those things. I was just like, I don't even know how to possibly rate this, but it ruled. He also apparently has a movie called like 48 Hours. Actually, that is the movie 48 Hours. That is a 48-hour movie that he's or 48 Hours literally is what it's called, and apparently he has one that just dropped or is dropping soon that is 120 Days of Sodom that is actually takes 120 days to watch. I was like, I don't know if I could do that, but I'm glad someone's doing dumb shit like this. And then I watched Skyscraper from 1996, the Anna Nicole Smith movie. It's a banger. And then last night, after watching Romulus, I got very in the mood to watch alien shit, and I watched a fuck ton of like shorts that they did for the 40th anniversary, where they're essentially like fan movies, but like were produced with like the blessings or whatever to celebrate the 40th anniversary. That's you can find on YouTube, and they were real hit or miss. But there was like a really interesting one that's like called Alien Alone, where it's one of the androids is like just the last thing on this ship and like befriends a facehugger because it's the only other thing on the ship and it just like has it as a pet basically. It's kind of interesting, but that's pretty much it.
We should do a month where we do alien knockoffs.
I'm in. We got to do fucking the Italian Alien 2 movie that I feel like maybe Bruno Marte did, but I don't remember who directed it.
See, that Creature, Dead Space.
There's so many. Yeah,
Dead Space rules.
Alien 2.
It's got Bryan Cranston.
Oh, I'm in.
What more could you need?
That's all I need in a movie, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. Give me the Cran Man.
All right, Katie, what do you want to shout out?
The Cran Man.
Yeah, definitely. I think I shouted this out like whenever I finished this book, but it seems on theme here, so I'm gonna re-shout it out. A book I read last year called The Unmothers, by Leslie Anderson. And it's essentially about a reporter who goes to a small town where reportedly a woman has given birth to a horse, and she just goes to
that old story
figure
again.
out, what's the haps.
Why do women keep birthing horses?
You gotta read to find out, honestly.
Not doing that. I set a goal of one book for the year, and I got to make it a good one.
All right.
I set my Goodreads goal for one book for the year.
Yeah.
I told Katie I'm going to wait till like December 31st to read it.
Just knock out one 120-page book.
Yeah, just one comic book that's on there. What do you want to shout out, Kit?
I'll go with Vinegar Syndrome since they're doing their subscriber week, and it has been a whole bunch of absolutely wild shit. It introduced me to The Seventh Curse and Witch from Nepal, which I had no idea existed, and I bought immediately because it sounds sick as fuck.
The Seventh Curse rocks.
I bought a hockey puck. I would have bought a skateboard, but I saw it was the final one, and I would rather have a bunch of movies than one skateboard. Yeah. Their partner label's killing it. I got Hundreds of Beavers, which I've heard is incredible. I haven't watched it. And then Disembodied, which I had no idea what it was, but it's from Bleeding Skull, and I had like a 3.5 on Letterboxd, and that's all the endorsement I need.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they covered that on Unsung Horrors, but Lance from Unsung Horrors does the commentary on it, so I went ahead and grabbed that.
No, sick.
Even like their Black Friday releases last year were fucking incredible.
Oh yeah,
Congo,
I'm still gonna watch my copy of The Keep. What they've also introduced me to a movie I didn't know existed called Crack House.
I know.
Which I absolutely have to watch. They reminded me that Virtuosity happened.
That fucking broke my brain that was getting like a fucking big ass
Virtuosity? What? Killing it.
Yeah.
Making the most out of that Paramount partnership.
I'm waiting to see what their last release is tomorrow before I buy some of like the stuff that's like not part of my subscription, because I just re-up my subscription.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome, the best.
So good.
I'm gonna shout out the podcast No Such Thing as a Bad Movie that I started listening to. It's Justin DeClue and like two of his friends, April Mansky and Colin something. I can't remember his last name. Cunningham, I think. And like, you know, Justin DeClue knows like a shit ton about all of these garbage movies. And then Colin Cunningham is somebody that's worked in like special effects since like the late 80s or early 90s. So he has like a lot of sort of like insider information. And especially like when they cover shit like, you know, like Lawnmower Man or fucking whatever, he could like talk about like the visual effects aspects of it. And so I don't know, it's been really interesting. And like I just started like listening to that during the fucking shitty holiday weeks at work. And it's really good, really funny. I told Katie I'm suing them because they did a fucking Stephen King month of Dreamcatcher and Thinner. And I was like, how dare you? We already did that. But I got Lycan Colony and Mortal Kombat Annihilation coming up tonight at work, and I cannot wait to listen to those. Some real fucking banger movies.
Oh, hey, Colin shows up on Red Letter Media.
Yeah, they talk about like they've only had a guest twice because Justin had like prior engagements or whatever, and they had like one of the Red Letter Media dudes as like a guest on both of those episodes. Yeah, it's pretty good. I assume it's a podcast people who listen to us probably already know about, but I'm new to it and it's very funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that.
It's so funny because like the thinner episode reminded me so much of like when we covered it, where like two of them are like, this movie's pretty bad, and one of them's like, nah, this is the best Stephen King movie. Which is me telling Katie it's the only Stephen King movie I like.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, next week doing the Mummy theme park.
Yeah,
which is a fucking banger. I can't wait. The special effects of this movie, insane. And it's if you have seen Creatures from the Abyss, it's pretty much as insane as that movie is. Same director, and it rocks.
Fuck yes! I did not know that. I'm so excited.
It's only 87 minutes, so pretty good runtime.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
All right. If you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. Either right before or right after this episode drops, we're going to have an episode on Alien Romulus. Since we did a 5-hour episode on all of the Alien movies, now we got to do Romulus now that we could actually all watch it. And I got some thoughts. It's a fucking weird movie.
You didn't hear me complaining a lot.
Yeah, me too. I will say.
You want to hear me fired up?
I got a spoiler. I enjoyed it. There's some fucking mess in that movie.
Yeah, it's weird. It was fun, but it sucked, and I hated it. But I liked it, kind
of. You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. You can follow Kit at InKitstery and Kitrification of Blood. You can follow Katie at WerewolfFace and join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/WerewolfFace. You can listen to my other podcast, 8K Movie Club. Everybody go watch Mummy Theme Park. It's on YouTube. It rocks. Katie's... I don't know. I can't tell how Katie's going to feel. I feel like Kit's going to be like, this is dumb. It rules. Katie's probably going to be like, I don't know.
Can't wait. I cannot wait.
Not enough mummy dong in this movie.
Oh, yeah, you know me.
It's like, it's the perfect sequence of words put together in a title.
It was on Tubi.
There's no way it doesn't deliver on it.
It was on Tubi at some point, and that's when I watched it. And I don't even know if I realized it had the like Creatures from the Abyss connection. And I was like, Mummy Theme Park, I'm in. And it's real stupid.
I gotta rewatch Creatures from the Abyss. Because talk about a banger.
I found that shit on DVD at the flea market and lost my mind. I was like, I don't care how much this is, give it to me.
Yeah.
It's like did not know this even had a physical release and I need it. All right. I hope you get stuck in a house covered in solidified amniotic fluid, but why? Yeah, that's the one. That's a good one.
I hope you get suckled. Wait, no.
I hope you also just want to cuddle, but why?